When Grease hit theaters in 1978, it didn't just become a movie, it became a cultural moment. Leather jackets, slicked-back hair, rock and roll dreams, and teenage rebellion wrapped in catchy songs turned it into one of the most recognizable films of all time. But here's a question worth asking. How many people truly know what was happening behind the scenes? What if the movie you remember so fondly was held together by fragile costumes, risky decisions, personal doubts, and even real-life tragedy? And what does that say about the price of creating something timeless? Let's pull back the curtain. The leather pants that almost broke the movie. That unforgettable moment, Sandy stepping out at the carnival in tight black leather, felt effortless on screen. But behind that transformation was one of the most stressful wardrobe situations in Hollywood history. The pants Olivia Newton-John wore weren't custom-made. They were authentic 1950s sharkskin pants, fragile and irreplaceable. There was only one pair. And when Olivia tried them on, the zipper snapped. So what was the solution? Every morning, the costume department sewed her into the pants, literally. No zipper. No room for error. Olivia couldn't sit, eat, or drink while wearing them. At one point, she nearly fainted. Ask yourself, how many iconic moments in film history came at that kind of physical cost? Decades later, Olivia auctioned the outfit to raise money for cancer research. The pants alone sold for $162,000, purchased by Spanx founder Sarah Blakely. The jacket. An anonymous buyer returned it to Olivia as a gift, perhaps recognizing it belonged with a woman who endured so much to wear it. Elvis Presley. Almost in Grease. Here's a question that stops fans in their tracks. What if Elvis Presley had appeared in Grease? The role of teen angel, singing Beauty School Dropout, was originally offered to Elvis. But by the late 1970s, his health was failing, and his manager believed the role was too small. Instead, Frankie Avalon took the part. Yet Elvis's presence still lingered. In one scene, Rizzo sings in front of his photograph. The eerie coincidence? That scene was filmed on the very day Elvis died, August 16, 1977. Was it coincidence, or one of those strange intersections between pop culture and fate? Olivia Newton-John nearly walked away. Now here's something many fans don't realize. Olivia Newton-John almost said no to Grease. She was nearly 30 years old and deeply uncomfortable playing a high school student. Her music career was thriving, and she feared a bad movie could derail everything she had built. So she asked for a screen test, something unheard of for a star of her level. Why did she finally agree? One person, John Travolta. He insisted she was the only Sandy. His confidence, and the undeniable chemistry between them, changed her mind. How often does one person's belief completely alter another's destiny? They were all too old, and it didn't matter. Audiences eventually noticed something unusual. None of these teenagers were actually teens. Travolta was 23. Some cast members were pushing 30. Critics complained. But casting director Joel Thurm had a blunt response. Grease wasn't realism, it was fantasy. The goal wasn't accuracy. It was energy, chemistry, and fun. And perhaps that's why it worked. Do movies really need to mirror real life, or should they help us escape it? A love story that took a strange turn. Jeff Conaway, who played Catchy, quietly fell for Olivia Newton-John during filming. But he never told her. Instead, at a cast party, he met her sister, Rona Newton-John. They married soon after. Their marriage didn't last, but Jeff remained close to the family. When he died in 2011, Olivia called him kind, talented, and unforgettable. But his story carries a darker shadow. A hickey that wasn't makeup. That famous mirror scene where Rizzo examines marks on her neck? Those weren't makeup effects. They were real. Stockard Channing later admitted they came from Jeff Conaway himself. A tiny detail, unscripted, uncomfortable, and oddly authentic. Sometimes realism sneaks into movies whether filmmakers want it or not. The car that was never meant for Danny. Greased Lightning, the ultimate symbol of freedom, wasn't originally Danny Zuko's car. It belonged to Catchy. In the story, Catchy rebuilds a wrecked 1948 Ford with his own hands. During the race scene, the car is badly damaged, but survives, just like its owner. Only later does Danny win a fantasy version of the car at the carnival, driving off with Sandy into the sky. Was the car a reward, or a passing of the torch? A real school, real students, real chaos. The famous Summer Nights scene wasn't filmed on a studio lot. It was shot at Venice High School, using real students as extras. Teachers helped disguise the campus as Rydell High. The chaotic rush of students crossing the lawn? Completely genuine. Today, the school still stands, a living monument to a movie that refuses to fade. A dangerous accident behind the camera. During the Thunder Road Race scene, director Randall Kleiser removed his shoes to walk on scorching concrete. It seemed harmless, until he cut his foot in the polluted LA riverbed. The infection was severe. His fever spiked. Production nearly shut down. It's worth asking, how many people risked their health so this movie could exist? John Travolta wasn't the first choice. Here's a twist few expect. John Travolta almost didn't play Danny Zuko. The role was initially offered to Henry Winkler, already famous as Fonzie on Happy Days. Winkler declined, fearing he'd be typecast as a greaser forever. Travolta jumped at the chance. Years later, Winkler admitted, "I was stupid." His career stalled. But instead of giving up, he reinvented himself as a producer, director, author, and speaker, eventually finding success on his own terms. Isn't reinvention the true mark of resilience? The T-Birds almost had a terrible name. Before they were the T-Birds, they were called the Burger Palace Boys. Not exactly cool. The name was changed before filming, and pop culture was spared one very unfortunate legacy. The tragedy of Jeff Conaway. Jeff Conaway's fall during the Greased Lightning number caused a serious back injury. Painkillers followed. Dependency followed that. When he died, the official cause was complications from substance use, but he also suffered from untreated pneumonia. The question lingers, did Grease make him famous, or break him? Filming in a toxic location. The Thunder Road Race was shot in the Los Angeles River, then filled with trash, chemicals, and stagnant water. Crew members became ill. Conditions were hazardous. Art, once again, demanded sacrifice. Sacrificing hair and identity. Lorenzo Lamas had to dye his hair blonde to fit in with the T-Birds. It was humiliating at first, but it reshaped his image and launched his career. Sometimes the smallest compromises lead to unexpected futures. The carnival was no joke. The final carnival scene looks joyful, but behind the smiles were spinning rides, nausea, and real discomfort. One actor begged to stop a ride mid-spin. Show business, as always, hid the chaos behind charm. Those pink clouds were real. The dreamy pink clouds in the final scene? Hand-dyed cotton. No effects. No shortcuts. Just effort and imagination. Sandy's transformation shocked everyone. When Olivia walked onto set as Bad Sandy, no one recognized her. Even she was stunned by the reaction. For the first time, she saw how perception changes with appearance. It made her ask a quiet question many women understand deeply. Is this what it takes? Improvised comedy and musical doubts. Sid Caesar improvised many of his lines as Coach Calhoun, adding spontaneous humor that couldn't be scripted. And, "You're the one that I want." It almost didn't make the movie. The director thought it sounded too modern. History proved otherwise. A movie that refused to fade. More than 4 decades later, Grease remains alive, not because it was perfect, but because it was human. So let me ask you, which behind-the-scenes story surprised you most? And does knowing the truth change how you see the movie, or make you appreciate it even more? Share your thoughts in the comments, and follow the channel for more stories hiding behind the spotlight.